No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. We're going all the way so you can score more for your trade-in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV today. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? Happy Monday to you here at BroncoNationNews.com. This is Bronco Nation News Live. We are in the RowPaint.com studios there in downtown Boise with Mike Prater. We're here in the Western Collective Studios in Meridian with myself, BJ Rains, and no game to talk about from the weekend, but we got plenty of college football. We actually have a little basketball game from the weekend to touch on for a few minutes, and obviously all gearing up, and 98% of the talk is going to be on Friday's showdown in Las Vegas with UNLV. Mike Prater, how we doing, sir?
I'm doing great. It's a Monday, and Monday, you can tell it's going to be a good week when you wake up on Monday morning with a smile on your face, and I did that today. A little bounce in the step. We know it's a big week. It's a short week, and let's get after it this week, BJ.
Anytime you can count down the days to a trip to Las Vegas, it's not the worst trip in the world, and we hope you'll join us on Friday because Mike Prater, you and Johnny will be broadcasting live. We'll be broadcasting live on BNN. Maybe we can tag team that for our segments and stuff. We'll work all the details out, but we are super excited about this. Pre-game with us in Las Vegas, 95.3 The Ticket, Bronco Nation News. We're going to be at Bar Canada on the second floor at the D. It's right there on Fremont Street. It's about a block down from Circa. So originally they were going to try to do this at Circa, but Mike, the crowd has become so big where they wanted to give us a little more space, and Bar Canada's got some tables and chairs and a little more, I don't know, concealed's not the right word, but a little more private area, I guess, so to speak. But there's lots of TVs. There's a sports book 10 feet away. It's actually a great spot if you've never been there. It's on the second floor of the D Las Vegas called Bar Canada. Friday from 3 to 5:30. You guys will be broadcasting Vegas time 2 to 5, 3 to 6 obviously back here in Boise. But so most of your show, there will be fans there that can come hang out. You guys might throw somebody on the air for a trivia segment or something. I'll throw some people on the air. We'll have some fun. But if just seeing Mike Prater and John Mallory and myself wasn't enough, Sir Derek Stevens is opening up his pocketbook maybe for the first of 2 Fridays in a row. More details on that to come. But 2 free drinks for anyone wearing blue and orange. So any fans that come down there, if you're wearing blue, if you're wearing orange, if you're a Boise State fan, they are giving you 2 free drinks at Circa Las Vegas and the D. And so, again, hope you'll join us. But, Mike, we made this work. You and Johnny are coming down. We got to thank our friend Simon Avalos and Coca-Cola. Big thanks to Coca-Cola sponsoring getting Johnny and Prater down there for this game. Super excited for that. So go drink a Coke, a Diet Coke, a rum and Diet Coke, whatever you prefer down there in Las Vegas. And it's going to be a lot of fun on Friday, Mike.
Oh, yeah, thank you. We do appreciate Simon and his crew over there at Coca-Cola. And rum and Coke sounds pretty good. Not on a Monday morning, but certainly on a Friday night or a Saturday watching some college football. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Thanks for all you do and helping put this together. And Johnny and I and Idaho Sports Talk are definitely looking forward to it. So we'll do our show here Thursday from Boise and then fly down on Thursday night. And then certainly big-time football game on Friday. This is a big-time football game, and it demands all kinds of presence, and we're going to be there and can't wait to get there. Yeah, we're going to have some giveaways. I'm going to bring down some BNN shirts and koozies, and maybe we can get some of that world famous 95.3 The Ticket chapstick and some other great items too. So I think we'll have a couple items from Circa we're going to give away too. So we'll have a little raffle going. The great Karen Rains, I talked to her into coming down and helping out. So we're going to have a little raffle going, and if you make sure you're a subscriber to 95.3 The Ticket and BNN on the YouTube channels, and we'll throw you in the pot and give away some stuff. And as I said, maybe have some folks come on the air, and there'll be some video involved, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So again, 2 free drinks. I mean, that's crazy in itself. If you're looking for a spot Friday afternoon before the game to come hang out at Bar Canada at the D, Las Vegas. And again, Derek Stevens, the whole upper management crew is going to be there hanging out with fans, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But 2 free drinks, and again, Friday, 3 to 5:30, all are welcome. Every fan. We did the package. I think we sold Mike Prater like 35 rooms between the D and Circa as part of our package with True Blue Travel, but the party is open to everybody. And again, everybody gets 2 free drinks if you just wear some blue and orange and say you're a Boise State fan. So looking forward to that, and we'll tell you about it all week, but we'll see you Friday, 3 o'clock Vegas time there at Bar Canada at the D, Las Vegas. Mike, I do want to mostly talk football, but a little birdie sent me the box score from the secret basketball scrimmage over the weekend. The Broncos played against Washington, and I know they got Danny Sprinkle, Utah State coach, went to Washington, and in due time, I think they'll get it going. They got, great Asabor, the transfer from Utah State, the player of the year who got like $2 million to go to Washington. But overall, I think this is expected to be a little bit of a down year for Washington. Now, again, last year was supposed to be down for Utah State, and Danny Sprinkle got them, to the conference championship. So we'll see. But I'm not trying to hype this win up as some win over a Final Four team, because, again, I think Washington is going to be down this year. But Boise State in their first, quote unquote game of the season. It's an exhibition game, a secret scrimmage, whatever you want to call it. But there's refs. It's 40 minutes. It's a normal game. There's just no fans or no media. Boise State takes down Washington 92-69 is the score that I was sent on the box score. You had 20 points for Tyson Degenhart, 17 points for Omar Stanley, and Javen Buchanan, the NAIA transfer, 16 points and 7 rebounds. And so I think that was a really encouraging sign to see, at least in one scrimmage against a Big Ten team, that his NAIA game translated 16 points and 7 rebounds for him. Again, Boise State wins 92-69. So Alvaro Cardenas, 9 points, had a couple assists as well. But they got 10 guys some playing time. I think 10 different guys played at least 10 minutes in this game. Ugbo got 11 minutes. Julian Bowie, 17 minutes. Chris Lockett Jr., 21 minutes. By the way, Ugbo had 9 points. Julian Bowie had 7. He had 7 points for R.J. Keene, 9 for Cardenas, as I said. So they got a lot of guys some minutes, and no surprise that Stanley and Degenhart were the leading 2 guys there. But, to get a nice win and score 92 points, if nothing else, Mike, it's encouraging and continues to raise the hype for the season that's ahead here. Yeah, Tyson Degenhart and Omar Stanley are going to be so much fun to watch this season, and that's really all I could say about it. Obviously, I didn't see the game or I didn't even know the box score until you mentioned it right there. Shout out to Tommy Connor, by the way, a former Boise area dude who's now an assistant on Sprinkle's staff, a former University of Utah guy, and Tommy Connor is now on Sprinkle's staff there at UW. So kind of shout out to another Boise connection. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously, we're 2 weeks away, November 9th, I think, something like that. So November 6th, Wednesday, November 6th is the opener. So we're getting close, BJ, where we get a collision of football and basketball. And I know you get fired up and excited about that. It's going to take me a little while to get fired up about basketball, but at least there's amazing storylines lurking in front of us with this basketball program this year.
And I know Robbie Robinson's joking here, but he says, do the 20 points from Degenhart count toward his total? No, unfortunately they don't. But you wrote that column, Mike Prater, later in the week or last week. We didn't get a chance to talk to you about it, but Ashton Genty's doing what he's doing. Tyson Degenhart is on pace to do what he's doing. And, that this record excitement with the 6 games, 6 sellouts for football has already carried over. They've already set the record for most season tickets sold for basketball. They're almost at the number where they can't sell anymore, Mike Prater, because they have to leave a certain number of single game tickets available. I think that number is 8,500 when you count in student tickets, and they're already over 8,000 season tickets. So they're not going to sell out of the season, but they're going to sell out of season tickets here maybe before the season starts. You're probably going to see a lot of sellouts and big crowds for basketball as well. This momentum from football, I think, is going to carry right on into basketball.
Oh, absolutely. And a part of it's because of the superstar factor like Tyson Degenhart. There's no doubt about that. And we're really blessed to have Ashton Genty and Tyson Degenhart not only chasing individual stuff with great teams that they're on right now, they're chasing records, historic records, monster records, amazing team accomplishments in terms of NCAA tournaments and CFP invites, individual accomplishments like Heisman trophies and things that Tyson Degenhart's put in front of himself. So I think it's a really cool time, and talked about the potential of retiring number 2. And it's not so much retiring a number 2 because of what Tyson Degenhart did, but if these guys complete the deal, win Heisman trophies, win NCAA tournament games, get to CFP games, break historic milestones from Boise State, it kind of represents an era. And I'm talking about an era. And maybe if they complete all those deals, check all those boxes, we have to talk about getting rid of the number 2 in the entire athletic department because of the way it represents this era. We're in a magical era of Boise State athletics right now, unprecedented era of Boise State athletics. We're early on in the process. I can't wait to see how it plays out.
I was down at Mountain West Media Days, and throughout the week, I want to play some clips here. And folks, it was a 4.5-hour show. I get it. Folks couldn't watch every second of it, but I wanted to play some different clips with different coaches throughout the week. But Brian Dutcher, San Diego State coach, talked about the fact that the last 3 years, I don't know if folks realize this, but Boise State is 6-1 against San Diego State the last 3 years. For whatever reason, they've kind of had their number. And I asked about what it is about playing Boise State and then about their team this year. Let's hear from Brian Dutcher, the San Diego State head coach.
About Boise State that the last couple of years, that's been a tough game for you.
It's every year. I mean, that stretch, we would just show tape. I remember watching tape. Here's the buzzer beater they made against us. Here's the buzzer beater we made against them. Here's the one they barely missed. Here's the one we barely missed. It's been that kind of series. And so Max Rice throws in a half-court shot and beats us at our place. Our only home loss of the year. That's the kind of shots that win those games. And so both teams are familiar with each other. It's a great, great rivalry game for us and them, and it's good for both programs. And it stays the way it is because Leon and I have a good relationship. It's not contentious. It's not like we're fighting each other, and it's a nasty. Rivalries can be a good thing, and I think the Boise State San Diego State rivalry is a good thing in basketball.
And I think you're going up there again on the national CBS game on a Saturday, so again, you're going to go into probably a sold-out game in Boise again this year.
Oh, it's going to be insane. It always is. I mean, the atmosphere they beat us in at our place last year was incredible, and so. College coaches and fans, they waste too much time cheering against the other team. Know that I love Leon. I love Boise. I want to beat them in the worst way. But once it's done, I'm a huge Boise and Leon fan. I'm a conference fan. And they got to be the same way. Pull for the conference in every other game than when you play them.
What are your thoughts on their team and that trio of Degenhart, Stanley, and Cardenas kind of leading the way?
Cardenas is the key. I mean, we all know that Degenhart and Stanley are first-team all-conference players. Degenhart's my favorite player in the conference. He always has been. And so now can Cardenas come in? And that's why these summer practices are important. Run that Boise offense, all the set plays. He'll be on top of it. And that's why they're going to be picked to win the league. As much as it's Stanley and Degenhart, it's like, who's the third guy with experience? And it's going to be Cardenas, and that he's going to make a huge difference for him.
Well, there you go. coach like Brian Dutcher talking about Cardenas and Boise State's impact. So it's going to be a fun year, Mike. I'm looking forward to it. And I got one final basketball question, but we had to bump up his schedule a little bit. Our man is a traveling conference attending man here, Andy Rowe. He's I believe he's in Austin, Texas, or somewhere down there. Maybe you saw him all over College Game Day on Saturday. I'm not sure, but Andy, welcome in, man. How we doing? And I know you like football and basketball, but we know you're the big commercial actor star with Leon Rice. What's your thoughts on the basketball season here, sir?
Oh, I mean, it's so exciting. It's basketball. Yeah, growing up, that was my first love. I got to go to a basketball game many, many years before I ever got to go to a football game. So, watching Tanaka Beard and I'm even old enough to remember Arnell Jones and Chris Childs. That was my youth. And so, we've had some incredible teams through the years, but I heard you guys talking about the legacy, and that's where we're at now. This is the way we're starting off the season, what we look like. And it's no surprise, you get to know Coach Rice. Of course, I've gotten to know him a little bit, especially through, sponsorship with you and the tournament you put on for Idaho Youth Sports. And the guy is just such an incredible leader. And I'm in Austin, like you mentioned. I'm at a leadership conference, and we had a great speaker this morning. But you spend a little bit of time around Leon, you realize why this program is where it is, the mindset that he's doing. And I think as Boise State fans, we love that. We loved Coach Pete, and the whole Zen master mentality. So it's exciting to watch Boise State basketball.
Nate Staley lives in Austin. He says, Andy, let's grab a beer in Austin.
Yeah,
so plans. There you go. We'll see if we can make that happen, Nate.
Show me around the good parts of town, Nate.
There you go. All right, let's transition to football, because obviously a huge game coming up on Friday. And Mike, we kind of knew all along. That's why we kind of booked this trip. Was Friday night's game was going to have big time implications. If they hadn't just played, the end of that game so poorly and lost to Syracuse, this game would have even bigger implications in this game. But just your take, first thought on a Monday morning on how big Friday night's game is.
Oh, it's massive. And can you imagine if somebody had made a couple of field goals, Boise State lost the number 1 ranked Oregon, not at the time, obviously, by a field goal. UNLV, that's a head scratcher, losing at home to Syracuse by a field goal, and that's too bad. And can you imagine if if these two teams were undefeated? It's already going to be spectacular. It's the game of the week leading up to Saturday's full schedule. So I'm really excited about that. And everything's on the table. This is, I hate to say it, as we start the second half of the football season, this is probably a CFP elimination game. And it's that important, that critically important to this football season. So two good football teams. I love the matchup because UNLV's strengths can fire up against Boise State's weaknesses, or Boise State strengths as well. So I think it's going to be heavyweight versus heavyweight. Cannot wait till Friday night.
Andy, your thoughts on Friday?
Well, I mean, you got to think these kids are athletes and they're competitive, and they've been brooding over last year. You got to believe that. The road to the championship. Look what happened to Boise State last year. Somehow we're in the Mountain West Championship, and then it wasn't really close. UNLV wasn't able to put together a competitive game. So the standard is Boise State still in the Mountain West. It comes through Boise, and now they get a chance at a rematch. I read something, I think you might have posted, about more tickets, more seats are being opened up. I think, the challenge is always when you go to those stadiums, like when Boise would play in Qualcomm, those NFL stadiums half empty, the feel can be a little bit different than a full packed, Provo or something like that. But I think there's going to be some good energy there. They have all the reasons to have it. And Prater hit the nail on the head. I think there's some matchups, particularly the passing game. Of course, we've talked about that a lot. What's that going to look like? I think it's going to be a barn burner.
Andy, as someone that's been around this town for a long time and have connections with the university, in terms of advertising, things like that, like, I know, he says this being a college football playoff elimination game, like, you just win this game and you fast forward, like, getting into the college football playoff. Have you allowed yourself yet to think about what that would do for Boise State, the city of Boise, just how big something like the college football playoff would be for this group?
I don't think I have. I don't think I've processed what it's going to look like. The other day we were talking about a quarterly meeting we have planned in January, and I realized the schedule was the same as some of these playoff games, but never in my mind did I think that Boise State would be in a round 2 or something along those lines playing in January. I don't think we've ever played in January. I was just talking to a buddy of mine from Portland who's here, and he was sporting his Oregon polo this morning. So we kind of had a little bit of ribbing back and forth, but it's a totally different game right now. It's a totally different feel. It's not like, Boise has to win out, I think. I do believe that. But if they do, they're playing with the big boys. And I'm not convinced that every one of those big boys is going to beat Boise. I think they are going to be able to throw some punches with some of these schools. We've seen it happen in the past when we've beaten, Oklahoma probably being the biggest one of those. But can you imagine if Boise gets to the playoff and has the potential to get past the first round? It's uncharted territory. And again, what you guys were talking about earlier, it's a legacy time period for this university.
And I assume you think the same about Genty. Are you still feeling pretty good, Andy, about Genty's Heisman chances here?
I mean, it's not just me. It's like he's still the favorite, isn't he? Most of the betting outlets have him as the favorite, and so we'll get into some conversations. And I'll mention that. And football fans, some of the football fans will say, "What Boise has the favorite?" I'd be like, "Yeah, that's not just my opinion. Some homer opinion. That's a real thing." So it's led to some interesting conversations, but I think he still is the standard. I saw a clip played this morning, something Travis Hunter said about, well, if I had that many touches, well, if, and it's like, I think Travis Hunter is a great football player. Obviously, there's no question about that. But the numbers Genty's putting up, who he is, and his impact on the team, he's it. He's the favorite. If ever we had a shot at a Heisman, this is it. There's no participation trophy like you got to come to New York. I think dude's got a chance at it. And what that would do for our university to have, they were talking on the BYU game the other night about 40 years or something since BYU's national championship, which, I was pretty much a youngster at that time. I didn't know that was happening, but they have that. And that's a legacy part of their institution that they'll always have. If we end up with a Heisman Trophy winner, it's an absolute game changer in our perception and who we are.
Well, Andy, I know your time's short, so we'll let you get back to your conference. But I know the concrete coatings, whether it's the back patio, the garage, the basement, interior, exterior painting. I know the residential, commercial, industrial. You guys, I know at rowpaint.com, they're ready to help everybody out here.
Yeah, you guys got painting needs, give us a call, let us know. Thanks for having me on, guys. Always enjoy listening to you.
Appreciate it, Andy. There he is, Andy Rowe, rowpaint.com. And again, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics is rowpaint.com. We always appreciate Andy for jumping on. And yeah, we've had stuff done at our home twice with Andy Rowe and rowpaint.com. I think he did Leon Rice's garage as well. So he's doing projects all over Boise State, all over the Treasure Valley, all over the community. And that doesn't stop, here as we go into fall. They can do some different kinds of projects and things as the weather cools down. So hit them up. They're getting ready for the winter painting season here too with some great deals. So rowpaint.com. Can't recommend it enough. I don't just recommend it because he's our title sponsor. He's worked on our home, and I highly recommend every piece of it. So make sure you check out Andy Rowe and rowpaint.com. Mike, I want to thank a couple other sponsors real quick, and then we'll get back to the football talk here. Let's thank Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. We got a Tyson Degenhardt Show episode coming up here real soon. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but as always, the easiest is that mobile eBranch online banking. So easy to use. Make the switch today. You'll be happy you did. The Raines family is still mad we waited so long to switch. We love ICCU. Check them out, ICCU.com. Our friend Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate, the number one real estate advisor in the Treasure Valley, is now the official real estate advisor of the Boise State home team. Check them out online at BauscherRealEstate.com. They're ready to help you out. And again, no home too big, too small for Matt Bauscher and his team. And shop Ridley's.com, Ridley's Family Markets. Check them out. Locations across the Treasure Valley. 13 of them to be exact. They got them in the Magic Valley, Treasure Valley, up in McCall, all around Idaho and surrounding states. Check them out. Shop Ridley's.com. The SpaTeam.com, Snake River Pool and Spa. They're part of the Boise State home team as well. Whether you're looking for a spa for the back patio, whether it's a pool table for the game room, a sauna, they're ready to help you out at Snake River Pool and Spa, patio and game. Again, locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. Been around since 1978. The SpaTeam.com. And we had two events related to our sponsors here, and I want to thank the listeners, thank the viewers, thank all of you guys. The fall kickoff sale is going on at Lithia Ford of Boise, but they had an event on Saturday that we promoted with some Boise State football players being over at Lithia Ford of Boise, and they had a huge crowd on Saturday, and a lot of people tweeted, said they only knew about it because of BNN, so we appreciate everybody that went over to Lithia Ford of Boise on Saturday for the autograph event. I hope you made it from 11 to 2, and again, you can check out their full inventory vehicles at lithiafordboise.com. And kind of a sadder note, Mike, but but they're closing down House of Western and the bars down there, Due West, Bar National on Idaho Street, and we encouraged folks on Friday to try to get out there one more time over the weekend before they close down, and heard from a lot of folks that went there and had a great time and really enjoyed it. So they're still going with the brewery out in Garden City. The beer, the seltzers, all that good stuff is still rolling. So please support the sponsors. They need it now more than ever. Western Collective, the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the Orange Chaos Seltzer. So our studio sponsor here at BNN, but they did have to unfortunately close the restaurant, Mike, downtown. That was certainly sad from that standpoint, but I know that there a lot of folks came out and supported them, and that was great to see. And I know the brewery is going to keep going strong here.
Yeah, that is too bad. I know that family as you do, obviously, and they do good work over there. So yeah, head over to Garden City and that little property there, Western Collective. It's pretty cool. So it's a perfect place to hang out in the fall and do some damage, drink some beers, have some fun, hang out with some friends, and in a really cool environment. So I totally concur, BJ.
All right, so we got the game Friday night, and again, Bronco Nation News, KTIK 95.3, The Ticket will both be broadcasting live on Friday down there at the game. You mentioned some of the matchups, Mike Prater, in terms of strengths, weaknesses going at it. I mean, Ricky White by himself has 3 blocked kicks, and we all talk about Ricky White as a wide receiver. He's blocked 3 kicks by himself, which is more than any other FBS team has for the entire season. I believe that the highest team has 2. Ricky White himself has 3. So special teams, and Kent Riddle always gets on me because on all these big games, I always say the keys are special teams, third down, red zone, turnover battle, and it's kind of it's the same, ones that come up in every game. And so on the pregame show, Rid likes to get after me a little bit, but I do think in a game like this, some of those key areas are going to be key, and certainly special teams has been up and down for Boise State this year, and that's something that they've really got to hopefully lock in and have their best special teams game of the year on Friday.
Boise State, I think, is favored by a field goal. This is going to be a close game. There's no doubt about that. In these close kind of games where it's a championship feel, it always comes down to 1 or 2 plays. And if it comes down to a special teams play involving UNLV versus Boise State, just based on the track record, you have to favor UNLV. Ricky White's just a beast at what he does. Boise State special teams have been up and down, up and down, up and down. The punting situation certainly hasn't been great. So that's just one of a few areas that really jumped out at me. Doing some research this morning and kind of going back and kind of refreshing my mind about what UNLV does. There's a couple of stats that really jump out at me, and I know we want to dive into this not only today, but for the rest of the week. They're only allowing 3.4 yards per run. One of their strengths is rush defense. That's power versus power against Ashton Genty. And the other side of it is they're only allowing 60% opponents pass completion, but they have 13 interceptions. Think about that. 13 interceptions. Boise State has 1. And if you want to throw in like the last 5 games of last year, they probably have 2. Over the course of a season, Boise State's defenses can come up with 2 or 3 interceptions at most. Already this year, halfway through a season, UNLV has 13 interceptions. 2 different dudes have 4 each. So that's a big task for Maddox Madsen. That's a big task for Ashton Genty. That's a big task for Boise State's special teams. And it's only Monday. And those are some of the matchups we're already talking about.
Yeah, we are going to talk to Spencer Danielson, Eric Chenander, Dirk Cutter coming up at noon today, and we'll air that live here on BNN, and you guys will have clips throughout the show on Idaho Sports Talk today from 3 to 6, and looking forward to hearing their thoughts on that. But I said that last week. I'll say it again this week. You have at some point, Mike, when your defense just doesn't create any turnovers, doesn't create any momentum, doesn't change the field position, flip the game, I was watching that Chiefs 49ers game last night, and yesterday afternoon. There was multiple times where 49ers were at 1st and goal in the red zone, and then they throw a pick in the end zone. There's just game-changing plays. They're driving in another time, and the receiver falls down, and the guy picks it off. There's just multiple kind of game-changing turnovers that we just have not seen from his defense. And at some point, it's going to come back to bite you. And I know the one positive that we've talked about is Boise State's not really turning the ball over either. Most of these games are having 0 turnovers. So the turnover in general, the turnover margin, they're not losing the battle because they're not, they're for the most part taking care of the ball as well. But at some point, and probably in a game like this, you're going to need to get a big interception or 2. You're going to need to get a fumble recovery. You got to flip the field position with some of these. And so I think getting a couple takeaways in this game is going to be massive.
Yeah, and where does that come from? It could happen, but we haven't seen it happen in a long time, and that's really, really troublesome for me, and certainly one of the storylines that we're going to spend all week talking about in terms of, is it going to be Irby? Irby was such a fantastic playmaker in the spring and the fall and has done really nothing here. There's 2 or 3 other guys that can just be playmakers and go out and get some stuff done. So I worry about that matchup. When I saw that UNLV had 13 interceptions already this year, that blew me away. I knew that their defense was really aggressive and they're really, really strong back there, but 13 picks is very, very scary.
And as Boise says, they have 2 players on UNLV that each have 4 interceptions themselves. So multiple playmakers, not just, one guy doing this. BSU Bill says this is the Stacy Collins redemption game. Boise State minus 2.5. He says, jump on that, sports bettors. I think the spread in the Mountain West Championship game last year was pretty close. It was like 3 or 4. It was a really low spread. And I remember thinking like, wow, Boise State's rolling. Like, I just think they're going to crush these guys. I don't know if I quite feel that way in this game, but I do feel I feel pretty good about Boise State. They've been able to win on the road, play well on the road. They had the week off. UNLV had to play late Saturday nights and now turns around and plays Friday. They were on the road last Saturday, the other night as well. So, and had a little trouble with Oregon State too. That was a close game there for a little while. I don't know. Josh says Boise by 21 plus. Haven't seen anything come close to stopping Genty. I'm not quite sure I want to go blowout, but I at least want, and it goes back and forth throughout the week as more stats come and more players talk and we see more stuff. But right now, as I look at it on Monday morning, I feel okay about this game for Boise State.
Well, I feel okay too. But you're never going to hear the word blowout come out of my mouth. I think this is going to be a tight game. And if I remember right, last year was 44-20 or 42-22 or something like that last year.
Easily covered the spread. Yeah.
I can't remember exactly. It was obviously a blowout. I think UNLV is a little bit better, and certainly the matchup stuff that we've been talking about and we'll continue to talk about favors UNLV a little bit, or at least gives them some hope that they can close that gap from last year. I think Boise State's the better team. I still worry about Maddox Madsen making a big mistake at one point in the season. I still worry about the defense giving up too many mistakes. But at Boise State, I think, is the better team. The home crowd doesn't really intimidate me. I think it's going to be more festive in there than it has been in a long time. I don't know if they've opened up the top bowl yet or not, or sold out the lower bowl, but it's going to be festive, but it's not going to be intimidating. So, yeah, I think it's advantage Boise State, but blowout, nah, that ain't going to happen, I don't think, guys.
Yeah, they opened up the middle bowl. I know that, or more seats in the middle level. I don't know if they've moved to the top level yet, but like I said, I'm hearing from a ton of Boise State fans that are going down there. I mean, the championship game, they had a ton of fans, and that was on a week's notice. Yep. This is a game on a Friday night. You have the weekend in Vegas. Like, this has been circled for a long time. I think this is going to be Boise State's best road attended game of the season. There's going to be a lot of blue and orange down there, Mike.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, a minimum, 5,000 to 8,000 just to start. I think I'd be shocked if it wasn't somewhere in that area. And if it could grow just a little bit more, that'd be great. This has replaced the Reno road trip. People are spending, instead of getting in their car and driving 6 hours down there, 6 hours back and hanging out in a crappy town like Reno, they've decided that, hey, let's jump on a cheap plane flight and you can get down there for 2 people, can get down there for $500 on a plane flight. There's lots and lots of options, affordable, easy options. I think Boise State fans are digging the Vegas road trip. That's one of the things that sucks about, moving forward in the future in the Pac-12 and the Mountain West. And I really wish Boise State and UNLV could stay in the same conference, but let's enjoy it while we can. I think Friday night's going to be a classic battle, a tight battle, not a blowout.
I want to talk about the implications of this game moving forward here in just a second, but I do want to thank a couple more of our sponsors. TacoBellWorks.com. Support the Treasure Valley Taco Bell locations because they are supporting the local community. They're put in hundreds of thousands of dollars for the men's and women's basketball endowed scholarship fund. So support them. And again, they've got, we saw Stan Nicolason over the weekend, his family. They came to the barbecue, Mike. We had a good time seeing the Nicolason family and chatting with Stan. And we got to a point where we had more teenagers show up, and we were getting a little low on the burgers and dogs. So good old Stan says, need me to order some tacos? But we made it through. We had a good time. It was a good barbecue, good fun time seeing some friends and family. And again, Taco Bell, support the sponsors. That Cantina Bowl, I've had probably 3 in the last 2 weeks. I love it. It's awesome stuff. The kids can eat really cheap with those cheesy roll-ups, and they love the slushies as well. So check them out online. And again, they're hiring as well at TacoBellWorks.com. Speaking of jobs, transportation compliance service, TCS can help you. They're a local company helping folks all over the United States get into the trucking industry. So all the permits and things you need, whether it's starting your own company, whether it's applying for a job at a trucking company, reach out to our friends at Transcomp Service. The Blue and Orange store has all the Ashton Genty Heisman gear, the NIL shirts and hats. And if you want to support Ashton Genty, you can go buy his hat at the Blue and Orange store, buy his shirt, buy his jersey, and he gets a portion of those sales back. So online at theblueandorangestore.com, or just go to the Boise Town Square Mall. They're on the second floor next to Pro Image. No 91-cent coffee or fountain drink today, but that's only Mike Prater because there was no game. He's done it, I think, 4 Mondays in a row when they've played. 91 cents on a Monday gets you a coffee or a fountain drink at Jackson's. So be on the lookout for Ahmed Hassanin on Friday night. And if he gets a sack, then next Monday you can get 91 cents coffee or fountain drink at Jackson's. And remember, 25 cents from every hot dog sold in a Treasure Valley Jackson's location goes back to the Horseshoe Collective. So make sure you support the Horseshoe Collective and Jackson. Speaking of food, Lean Feast, leanfeastmeridian.com. Had a breakfast Lean Feast this morning, Mike. Loving Lean Feast. And again, 10,000 plus combinations, all healthy food, and it's fresh, and you can have it in your refrigerator for 5 days. You microwave it for 2 minutes. And again, they do now deliver anywhere in the Treasure Valley, so no excuse not to eat healthy. Make sure they're feeding the football team. They're feeding the basketball team. They got some NIL deals. Like they're fueling your favorite athletes here, and they can help you out as well. LeanFeastMeridian.com. And I want to give a quick shout out to Alex Martin, 208 Lawn and Landscape, coming by to blow out the sprinklers this week and give it one final grass cut. 208 Lawn and Landscape. So happy we made the switch. We've heard so many great, when people come over and see our backyard, so many people have had great reviews about the landscaping and stuff, and it was done by Alex Martin, 208 Lawn and Landscape. Check them out online, 208lawnandlandscape.com, and they also rent out bounce houses if you got that birthday party or that kids event coming up. Make sure you check them out. Alex Martin, 208 lawnandlandscape.com. All right, Mike, this game obviously has a lot of implications on the playoff, and I knew this was possible, but our friend Dayton Robinson, a big-time viewer, actually does our taxes here at BNN, but big-time guy on social media. He tweeted this out yesterday, and if you look at Colorado State's schedule, they're kind of lurking because they are 2-0 in the Mountain West right now, and they've got a pretty favorable schedule. They do go to Nevada, and they do go to Fresno State, which, again, back in the, early in the season, you would have said the at Fresno State game, there's no chance they'll win that. But Fresno State really hasn't been playing quite as good. They're only 4-3 right now, and that'll certainly be a tough game. But if they were to win at Fresno State, they play Utah State at home, Wyoming at home, and New Mexico at home. And as I said, going to Nevada won't be an easy game. Jeff Choate's got them playing better. But at least for the time being, the loser of Friday night's game, Boise State and UNLV, will not control their own destiny in the Mountain West because Colorado State does not play UNLV and does not play Boise State this week. Do I think Colorado State probably loses the game? Yes, but right now, Colorado State is 2-0 in the Mountain West, 4-3 overall. And if Colorado State were to win out, they would have a type. They would have they would beat the team that loses on Friday. So, do I still think it'll probably end up UNLV and Boise State in the championship? I think it very well could and probably will, but it's not a lock. I mean, you're going to need Colorado State to lose a game. So, I know a lot can still happen over the next month of the season, but the loser of this game is going to be facing a little bit of an uphill battle, and nothing's going to be guaranteed. Another reason to really need to find a way to win this game on Friday.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, and that's a good breakdown. Didn't realize about that. I looked at San Diego State's schedule earlier because they're also 2-0, but they got Washington State, they got Boise State, they got UNLV, they got some tough opponents there, and I'm not sure how good San Diego State really is if they can complete the deal. Maybe good down the road, but not this year. So, yeah, I think that there's some implications and some ramifications coming out of this. As you said, it's the importance of this game. They have to win this game. This is not only a CFP elimination game, but a Mountain West ramification game as well.
Yeah. And we've seen years where that tiebreaker has come back to bite, Boise State. There was a 3-way tie one year where they missed out and so they don't play each other. So if they were to finish tied, I don't know how it goes to, common opponents and all that stuff. And you don't want to deal with tiebreakers. But 2 losses for a Mountain West team. Yeah, that pretty much knocks you out. How are you still feeling about a 1-loss Boise State versus this Navy-Army situation? I know Navy plays Notre Dame on Saturday, so ideally for Boise State fans, Notre Dame wins that. Navy, they're out of the picture, and we'll see what happens with Army. But both those teams are still undefeated and lurking at the moment. How do you feel? I mean, right now, those would appear to be the 2 challengers at this moment, the top challengers, I should say, for Boise State.
Yeah, and they are kind of scary right now, and Army especially. And obviously, one of them will be eliminated in the conference championship game at the end of the season, and we'll see how that plays out. But Army, I think, is really good. I think Navy's probably kind of one step behind them, but obviously very, very strong as well. So, yeah, keeping an eye on those teams. How crazy is that we're in this CFP National Championship Tournament era, and we're having a conversation about Army and Navy who are doing things they haven't done in 65 years. So it is pretty crazy, but we'll see how that plays out. We're just starting the second half of the season this week for Boise State. A lot of football to be played. I have a hard time believing that both Army and Navy can close out the deal, but that's just kind of a thought based on past. We don't expect them to compete for national championships. And they're not going to compete for national championships, but can they be a fly in the ointment or eliminate a Boise State or a UNLV? Absolutely. That scenario is clearly on the table, BJ.
I would say to this point, though, I mean, Army has played Lehigh, Florida Atlantic, Rice, Temple, Tulsa, UAB, and East Carolina. So it's not like Army has played that big of a schedule. And they do also, as well, on November 23rd, play Notre Dame as well. So I'm not a huge Notre Dame fan. I do not want to see them get in the playoff after losing to Northern Illinois, but you need to be a Notre Dame fan, I guess, because they play both Army and Navy over the next 3 weeks, I think it is, or 4 weeks here. And so Notre Dame's going to have a big factor in this group of 5 bid with Army and Navy. But I don't think, I mean, if Army were to go undefeated and they were to beat, Notre Dame and be undefeated, like they're probably getting in over a one-loss Boise State, I would think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They'd get in. Either one of them. Absolutely. They would get in. Those are 2 teams you definitely have to keep an eye on. But
as Banana and Locke says here, win out and they're in. And how do knowing Spencer Danielson the way you do, Mike, as we wrap this up, I mean, he's going to go with this game's the biggest because it's our next game on the schedule type stuff on today. And we can, keep our tracker going and take our shots after the show when he hits all the bingo card lines. But I mean, but really though, I mean, it's just as each game comes and as each, week happens, I mean, it's only the pressure for him, for Ashton Genty, all this is only going to mount. But if you look at it on paper for the next 5 weeks and what Boise State has left, I mean, this is their hardest remaining hurdle.
Yeah, this is the big one. Boise State's this football season will probably be decided in the next 5 days. And that's kind of scary to think with so much football to be played, but the consequences of this game are massive. They really, truly are. And, where the things have happened, and I don't have even if UNLV wins, it's not like I have all the trust in the world that they're going to be able to complete the deal. So we'll see how it plays out. Boise State is the better team on paper, if you ask me, but, we're homers living here in Boise, Idaho, and certainly UNLV does some things that are very, very attractive and strong. But, we're going to hear Spencer Danielson. He's going to say all the right things, but this football team should be fairly healthy, fairly good shape. The bye week came at a perfect time for Boise State. UNLV's coming in a little less rested. So all the cards are on the table. Boise State just has to go off and do what Boise State does, win big football games.
Again, Spencer Danielson, Dirk Cutter, Eric Shenander talking at noon. I know you guys will be all over that. What else we got on Idaho Sports Talk today?
Yeah, today we're just kind of recapping, the first half of the season and getting ready for the second half of the season. No big guests. We'll set everything up for UNLV and get after it. Got some other guests lined up for the rest of the week, and certainly everything points to our Friday party with you, BJ, right there at the Big D on Fremont Street. So looking forward to that. It's going to be a monster week here on Idaho Sports Talk and at Bronco Nation News.
Yeah, join us at the D Casino and Hotel, the D Las Vegas at Bar Canada on the second floor. Again, KTIK will be broadcasting live Pacific time from 2 to 5. We'll be doing our pregame show there as well. We'll have goodies to pass out, shirts, bumper stickers, all kinds of stuff. And you can hang out with other Boise State fans. And again, if that's not enough to persuade you to come, 2 free drinks. And I'm pretty much was told it's anything at the bar, Mike Prater. So there's no limits, whatever. You get 2 free drinks. They'll give you drink tickets. And that's just for coming out and supporting KTIK, The Ticket, and Bronco Nation News. So we'll see you Friday. Come pregame, hang out with us at Bar Canada at the D Las Vegas down there on Fremont Street. And again, thank you to Coca-Cola, Simon Avalos, for helping make this possible. And again, Coca-Cola, one of our friends, and have helped with the golf tournament things, and they are supporting Johnny and Prater's road trip down to Las Vegas. We appreciate Coca-Cola and Simon Avalos for helping get Prater and Johnny down to Las Vegas for this one. So join us on Friday. Looking forward to that, Mike. We'll see you at the press conference. We'll be listening 3 to 6 today on Idaho Sports Talk, and going to be a fun week as we kind of count down the days here until Thursday when we head down to Vegas. And Friday is going to be a huge game, and I'm excited that you and Johnny are going to be there in the press box to watch it, and it's going to be a fun week.
Thanks for all you do, man. We appreciate you putting it together. We're really excited here at Idaho Sports Talk and can't wait till Friday. So it is a monster week. Let's have some fun on Friday And let's start that fun today and kind of build it up. So looking forward to it. BJ, thanks for all you do, bud.
All right. Thanks again, Mike Prater. You can go read his column on Ashton Genty and our friend Tyson Degenhardt as well, and the legacy of number 2 at Boise State. And you can read that at BroncoNationNews.com. You can come back at noon and watch us live stream the press conference with Spencer Danielson, and then have that radio dial at 3 o'clock. Turn to 95.3 FM, 1350 AM. The Ticket for their local program, Prater in the Ball Game, from 3 to 6 today here in Boise. So thanks a lot to all of our sponsors. Thanks to Andy Rowe for jumping on down there from Texas. Thanks to all of you guys. Go subscribe if you can. Use that promo code BNN50 deal. Just $50 gets you a whole year at BNN. And if not, at least make sure you're following us on YouTube here and give that video a like over there in the corner and help us out. So have a great day. We'll talk to you at noon from the press conference down at Boise State. This is Bronco Nation News Live, presented by RowPaint.com from the Western Collective Studios here at Bronco Nation News.